I'm very
Yes.
much here.
Good morning, everyone. Today good morning, everyone. We have started a meeting a little late. I guess there have been some network issues. So here we are again. It's March 9th March 2025. And originally we were supposed to have three reviewers for today's book. But one of the reviewers, Kavita, she has a personal problem. One of the family members is not keeping well. So she had to drop out. But luckily for us, Ritu and Pallavi decided to take up Kavita's portion of the book review and not let the date go by. So here we are. Of course, Pallavi and Ritu have been reviewers in the past too. But I'll just give a brief about them. Yes, first of all, to begin with, this is Dr. Sandhya Patil. And then we have Pallavi, CA Pallavi Agarwal. She is a highly accomplished and seasoned chartered accountant based in one of the beautiful cities of India, Lucknow, with more than 15 years of experience. She is simple, committed, and definitely a determined person. We have seen how she has been participating in multiple book reviews, not somebody to give up. She specialized in areas like IFRS, forensic and fraud detection. She holds certifications in anti money laundering specialist and also is an ESA auditor. She has co authored the book Magical Power of Gratitude. Besides that, we have Ritu. Ritu, we have seen the many facets of Ritu in her trailer videos. So Ritu is a freelance trainer. She is a story writer. She's a poetess. Definitely, I would love to hear a kavita from Ritu at some point in time. And besides that, she's a motivational speaker, a very sweet person to be. So here, the stage belongs to
Thank you.
Pallavi and Ritu. All the very best. Yes, today's book. I don't want to take away the beauty of the book. I want you all to give us an insight because it's definitely a different book. So all the very best.
Thank you.
Pallavi, where is Ritu?
Good morning, everyone. I am Ritu Sharma. So today we are talking about, we are reviewing a book, Nine Lives. The title itself tells you that we are going to talk about nine different things. And this is a very beautifully written book. It is, in fact, a travelogue, as you've already seen in the promos. Am I audible to everyone?
Ritu, you're audible.
Yes, yes.
Right. So the book talks about
Ritu, I think not audible. Is it only me or everybody else is not able to hear?
No, you are not able to hear.
It's audible, ma'am.
Meenakshi, you can hear?
Not
Good.
audible.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm not
Just
able.
started. Just started.
So yeah, same thing, Bharat. I think Ritu, are you there?
Good morning, Sandhya ma'am.
Good morning, Rajiv ji. How are you?
Fine,
Where is
thank you.
Did we lose Ritu? Ritu, आपकी आवाज नहीं
Can
आ
you
रही
hear
है.
me?
Yes, now we can. You can keep your video off so that the voice is
Okay.
clear.
Better idea. Fine. I heard my video. Right. Am I audible? Please give thumbs up.
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right. So it's a travelogue which takes us to 9 different places. And all of these places are, when you, well, that is the beauty of reading. When you are a careful reader, the writer actually takes to ways. And the way it is like the placement of the monastery, the dancers, the placement of the nun in chapter one, and of course, when he takes you to some temple from the usual way of life, you actually get connected to all of them. And you are lost in the way the temple is presented, the people around them is presented. So, but yeah, see, generally, religion is understood to be a Puritan way of life. So everything is sacred. Everything, like you go to whatever religion, Christianity or Islam or Hindu temples or to the Sikh gurudwaras, you will see people respecting everything that is there. From the idols or Guru Granth Sahib or the cross, you will see people are respecting everything, and they have their hands washed and all that before touching things. But there are certain temples that William Dalrymple takes us to, which are far away from Puritanism. Uh, uh, we are Indians, we will understand. We've just had the Mahakumbh. I'm sure people will understand Aghoris, right? The Naga sadhus. Even in Jainism, we have Digambars. uh, Bhagwan Shiv is also called a Digambar. So all of them are, they are away from the set rules and regulations. They are away from the kind of tradition that we understand the faith should be. So these are beautifully presented, and when you read them, you understand that sometimes I'm a devout Hindu. Sometimes our religion, and especially the ones who hold the religion very strongly, they create circumstances for others to break free from the society, the set norms, the set rules. We will first start with the chapter one, the first story that is of a nun. Uh, Pallavi ma'am, could you please take us through now?
Thank you, Rituji, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. Now we will go through the first story, The Nun's Tale. Imagine you are in a quiet town at dawn, Begola, a scared Jain pilgrimage site.
Pallavi,
Pilgrim-
just sorry to interrupt you. Just one thing. Both of you have to understand we have started the meeting a little late, so you'll have to increase your speed. Thank you.
Pilgrims are climbing the stone steps to the towering Bahuli statue, a symbol of renunciations. Among them, author notices a young Jain nun dressed in white, barefoot, gently sweeping the path ahead of her. She moves carefully, making sure she doesn't harm even the smallest insect, because one of the set rule of pilgrimage of Jain Muni is to ensure they do not harm even the smallest living creature. This is Prasanmati Mataji, and her life is one of the extreme discipline, deep faith, and emotional struggle. She was not always a nun. Rekha was born in a wealthy Jain family. She lived a comfortable life. But after meeting a Jain monk, something inside her changed. At 14 years, she left her home, her family, all comfort to become a Jain nun. Rekha spends her days learning Sanskrit and Prakrit to understand Jain scripture and engage in meditation. After 12 years of training, she decided to take initiation into Jain meditations. which included the painful ritual of removing her ears, plucking out her own ears to detach from vanity. She embraced the life of strict simplicity, walking barefoot across India, owing only a white sari, a coconut shell water pot, a peacock fan. Of her, this was for her, this was the only path to peace. For years, she had a companion, Prayogmati Mataji, her closest friend and fellow nun. When Prayogmati Mataji fell sick, she made a choice. She would take Salekhana. Salekhana is the Jain practice of fasting till death to achieve the liberation. Pragmati Mataji, deteriorating health and ultimate death, marked profound moment in Rekha's life. She continued her journey alone, but always remembered her dear friend. Prasamati Mataji, as he was observing a jailer, she was supposed to remain detached, but she struggled. She later admitted, "We are meant to cultivate indifference, but still I remember her." Can true reconciliation ever be complete? Or is love and detachment too deeply human to erase? Salikhana is not considered suicide, but a scared journey to nirvana. It happened gradually, giving up certain food. It is first we give food, then we only stay for water, and gradually stop taking all intakes, letting the soul be freed. It is a ritual to fasting till death. This journey highlights the sacrifices and spiritual growth for the Jain nun, showing their commitment to spiritual life. Prasamati Mataji explained that is not the end, it is just moving from one room to another. The story illustrates the deep bond formed through shared value, devotion, and dedication to the path of Jainism. Yet it raises big questions. Is this true spiritual liberalization or just escape from suffering? Can we ever fully detach from emotion, or is human connection too powerful? Author doesn't give us answer. He leaves us to think, to question, and to reflect. Thank you. Now, Rituji will take ahead with another beautiful story.
All right. So the next story is of the Red Fairy. Uh, we are now moving from a sect of Hinduism, which was Jainism, to Islam. And music is very, very famous. All of us are very much connected with the Sufi music. Even our Bollywood songs, many of them are based on Sufism. And Sufism is a sect of Islam, which is not really very welcome. When you read the book Nine Lives, you'll see that there are many people who are strongly against Sufism. And what is the reason for that? Because this is a sect which takes up a lot of Hinduism also. The image that you see on your screen, these people, they are dancing to the drum. This is basically taken from the Damru of Shivji. And the Damru of Shivji is because it is connected with the Hinduism, that is why it is not given the kind of reverence, the kind of fanatic people are there for Sufism. And at the same time, if the book mentions it. I am only, putting forward what the book says, that there is a shivling that has been locked in 1970s, and people are not allowed to even have a look at it. So this Sufism in Pakistan, this story is not from India. This story is from Pakistan. And in there are two dargahs that are being talked about. The first one is of Shah Abdul Latif, and the second one is a very famous character. All of us have heard many a times, Shahbaz Kalandar. There is this famous song, Ali Dam Dam De Andar. Alida Pehla number. This is Shahbaz Kalandar. He's the same Kalandar that um, people sing of. Ma'am, can we move to the next slide? This is placed in Sindh, and Sindh is geographically between India and between Afghanistan. So Sindh is a place where two cultures unite even demographically. And when you are at that place, you will see there are so many things that are continuously and regularly happening there. There is, I've already mentioned, there is Dhamal. Then there is also Sufi Urs, which takes place, and this source is, kind of not really welcomed. On the right hand side, I've given a little understanding of what all is there. So there is a Lalpari, then there is Saint Fakir, then there is a character from Islam, Dara Shikoh. He was a son of Aurangzeb, and he has gotten many Hindu scripts translated into Persian and Urdu for people to easily understand what Bhagavad Gita and what Shiv Mahapuran and all that, what they talk of. That is why when Dara Shikoh was considered an outcast. He was not given the kind of love and affection, though during his regime he has done wonderful things to.
Are you all there?
Them put together, they make Sufism.
Yeah.
And Sufism, I'm sorry, is someone talking? So when Sufism is talked about, it is an amalgam of both. The title is Lalpari. So what does Lalpari do, by the way? Lalpari is, like I told you in the introduction, that these 9 lives are the people who have been kind of outcasted. They have not been imbibed, they have not been well taken in the society. So Lalpari is a female. Islam actually does not allow women to enter Idgah or mosque. Fine, women are not allowed. But Lal Pari is a woman who lives in this place, and that is why the Islamic uh, movement, the Wahhabis, as you can see in the right hand corner, I've clubbed them together. The Wahhabis, the Mullahs, the Tablighs, and there is a nice young gentleman at that point of time when the book was written. His name is Salimullah. They call them, they say that Sufism is nothing but kufr. And why is it kufr? Because it talks of Hinduism also. It allows women to enter the shrine, and it does not follow the strict rules as given by them. In the last slide, you have seen, and they are dancing to the drum. That is why Sufism is not taken in a good, stat in the Mohammedans. Uh, okay, now can we move to the next chapter? Pallavi, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Now, next chapter, next story we are going to share is about uh, the dance of Kannauр. Kerala, as you all know, is known as God's own country. Here deep in Kerala forest, under the glow of fire and oil lamps, drum beat louder and louder. Crowd watches as man painted in red, eyes wide, begins to move. But he is no longer just a man. He is a god. This is Thayam, an ancient ritual where performers are processed by divine spirit. In Thayam, the dancers adorn as god or goddesses, and it is believed that divine being possesses their body for a few months, say from December to February each year. For 3 months, these men are worshipped as God. And each and every word they say is treated as divine word. People believe that by their offering during their Thayams, they can find solution to each of their problem. Author meets Haridas, a Thayam performer preparing to invoke Vishnuji. He explains the God come alive and takes over. We are just the vehicle. For now, he is divine. But once the season ends, his reality is very different. At the age of 17, Haridas performed his first Thayam performance. He describes the experience as transformation. During, during this performance, his body and soul became one with the divine. During the performances, he lost all awareness of his family and earthly connections. After the performance, he felt sense of relief as though his mind was unburdened. He marked this marked his journey as big. This marked the beginning of his journey in the Thayam. However, even during this divine performance, Haridas remained a Dalit. When he worked as a laborer at Brahmin houses, he was still treated differently. His food, water, utensil were kept separate. He was also not allowed to enter a Brahmin house. Despite these discriminations, the Thayam dance the Thayam dance has given him a sense of pride. Outside the Thayam season, Haridas is work as a laborer for the most of the year, and on weekends he served as a prison guard in one of the Kerala's most dangerous jail. By night, during Thayam, he is a living god. It is a huge contrast. As the author says, for 3 months we are God. Then in March we pack our costume, and after that it's back to jail. Even Brahmins bow before him during Thayam, but once it is over, caste rule returns. The same people who worship him won't even share water with him. Thayam believes inverters the social orders, and once the ends, the reality takes over. Thayam is not just a ritual, it is also the form of protest. Many of the stories tells of us of caste injustice, where an opposed person return as God to claim justice. Haridas reveals the contradictions. One week a Brahman worship me, the next he won't let me draw water from his well. For lower caste performer, Thayam is both empowerment and painful reminder of system that still controls their life. Question to ponder: can fate truly change social injustice, or it's only provide an illusion of equality? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pallavi ma'am. We move to the next, the monk's tale. Uh, it's a very beautiful presentation of McLeodganj. I personally visited McLeodganj once. When I was reading the travelogue about McLeodganj, I was feeling as if I knew that William Dalrymple has given a very correct description of the area. We all kind of boast of having the llama here, but imagine right. We just, ma'am, Pallavi ma'am, that on one day, a kind of people are
Is Ritu audible? Ritu,
Dalai Lama has been Dalai Lama has been exiled from his own home. Ma'am, are you saying something, ma'am?
couldn't hear you on the previous slide.
Oh, ma'am, could you please go back? Sorry, ma'am. Uh, okay, I'll take only 1 minute. So the places mentioned in the chapter are Dharamshala, McLeodganj, which is in India. Tibet, Dharamshala or McLeodganj is called Tibet in exile or a Tibet outside Tibet. I'm sorry, the word is monastery. This is Tibetan home monastery, and Dakpa is the country from where the character of this story, Tashi Pasang, he was born in Dakpa. Ma'am, can we move to the next one? Thank you very much. We already know that the author is talking to people and getting information from them. So I have taken a few dialogues from there. See, we all know Buddhism is meant for peace. It only gives us plenty of peace. It talks of ahimsa. But at the same time, there are scriptures which say that, even in Hinduism, every god and goddesses is not having not just having musical instruments, they are also carrying swords and tridents and whatever is whatever they are good at. Similarly, so on the right hand box, the narrator asks, so inspired by these teachings, did you kill people? He says, I did too, but my religion was strong enough that I just couldn't kill. Ma'am, next slide, please. Now talking about the fight for peace. Pallavi, ma'am. So this is fight for peace. You know, at times to maintain the peace, this is another irony that even to maintain peace, you actually have to stand up and fight. So these are certain images from the temples where the fight is being talked about. There is um, then there is four-headed, six-armed Chakra Samvara. Then there is Guru Rinpoche. Then there was King Gezer. All of them were devout Buddhists. They are famous for being so strongly, embedded in the religion. But that when a time came, they were not, they did not have any other choice but to take up the guns. It, there is another story of Rinpoche. He was traveling with 500 of his brethren, and he realized that it is time to kill someone, to kill the one who was conspiring against them. And within a fraction of a second, they were traveling by boat. They were sailing in a boat, and within a fraction of a second, he quickly picked up the boatman and threw him into the water. And he threw him in a way that the man drowned and died. So his disciples, they asked him that, what have you done, Guru? You have killed someone. This is not allowed. He says that, of course, I have earned a lot of sin. But at the same time, I will be, my guru will atone me because if I had not killed him, he would have created a bigger sin of killing all of us. We were 500 plus one guru. So all the 501 people he would have killed, and he would not just have killed 500 people. He would have killed the dharma. He would have killed Buddhism with us. So to protect Buddhism, I have taken up the decision of throwing him into the or drowning him rather. And for of course it is a sin, but we will find solutions from higher guru, and we will find out how to atone myself. Okay, ma'am, please take over, Palvi, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's a very interesting observation. Thank you so much, ma'am. That's a very interesting observation that you have to resort to violence to make sure that things remain non-violent.
True,
Thank
true,
you.
true. I was noticing it.
Now, we have another interesting story of the daughters of Yalmaha. Uh, in Saudhati, Karnataka, the temple of Yalmaha is alive with music, prayer, and thousands of women seeking blessings. Among them are Rani Bai and Kaveri, two women whose life has been shaped by devotion, not only by the devotion but also by suffering. They are Devdasis, women dedicated to Yelmaha as children. For them, the goddess is everything protector, healer, and hope. As one woman says, goddess dries our tears if you come with them with pure heart. She will take away all our sadness. But outside the temple, their reality is very different. In ritual, they are honored. In daily life, they are usually ignored. Most Devdasis don't choose this life. It is chosen for them. As young girl, they are dedicated to the goddess, believing they will serve in temple. But over time, the system changed. Today, many are pushed into the sex work. Today, it is part of their duty. Rani Bai remembers being sold at only at the young age of 14. Unable to escape her fate, she says, everyone sleeps with us, but no one marries us. Many embrace it, but no one protects. Despite the pain, many Devdasis still believe Yelma is watching over them. Their faith is the only thing that gives them strength. Some Devdasis tries to leave. They save money, dream of a new life, hope for a change, but escaping is never easy. Society rejects them. Many are trapped in a cycle they cannot break. One woman reflect, because of that woman, my life has been wrecked. Yet I did same for my daughters. What a irony. Even today, despite law banning the practice, thousands of girls are still dedicated to Yelmaha because, despite the hardship, Devdasis hold a spacious status in a society. People invite them to their home during festival, feed them, and seek their blessings. The author later meets an NGO project manager in Belgaum who worked with HIV positive Devdasis. The manager revealed a heartbreaking truth. When Devdasi contract diseases, their family abandoned them or locked them away to die. Ironically, the same family survives on the earning of these women, but discard them once they are no longer useful. Rani's story is testament to resilience, yet she fears death. Like her daughter, she too might lose her battle against faith. It leaves us with a difficult question. Is devotion truly a choice, or has it become a way to justify suffering? Thank you so much.
Very poignant
Thank you,
reminder.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Palvi ma'am. I now take up the story of Idol Maker. Uh, See, it is a few months, not a few
Can you
months,
please
rather
repeat the
1 year.
last line? It is really worth copying. Can you please repeat the last line of whatever the last lecture just said?
Palvi ma'am, over to you, please.
Yeah,
We'll do it at
yeah. The question to ponder was: Is devotion truly a choice, or has it become a way to justify suffering? Thank you so much.
wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, so now I take up. It is the story of the maker of idols. We just had Sri Ram Murti Sthapna, and people have been talking about the beauty, the innocence that the sculptor has engraved in that. And the moment you look at it, you actually feel the moment I had seen the sculpture, I actually felt like that he's a small boy and I must carry him in my arms. He is such a sweet little boy. And that is how we feel about the idols. And it is not the idol makers are also trained in such a way that whatever they create, it should it should
Ritu can't hear
point
you.
about how the idol makers really work. Oh, really, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, the last slide only, Pallavi ma'am. So there is something called Shilp Shastra, and there are this is why we are talking of this particular Satpati, Shrikant Satpati, because he is the only one who strongly follows the Shiv Shastra. Whatever the religious ceremonies that are being written down for sculptors to create a sculpture, he follows them right from the very first day of starting sculpting an idol. Ma'am, can we move to the next one now? So the idol makers, they are working. This particular family is generating these sculptures since many years. Generations have done this work, and at the same time, when you see their sculptures, see, Hinduism also equally talks about sensuality. It is a part and parcel of our religion. Whichever god or goddess you may talk of, they are talking of love. Radha Krishna, Shiv Parvati. Radha Krishna, they got married after 100 years and all that. And Shivji, he had the first wife, and then he married Parvati ji, who was the incarnation of the same woman after many births. So, talking of marriage, talking of married life, talking of love, talking of sensuality and pleasures, it is a common form in Hinduism. So, when you read this chapter, you will see there is a mention of many idols that when you look at them, they give you sensual pleasure. They tell you that it is a part and parcel of life, and reproduction is necessary so that the religion keeps going on, so that the life keeps continuing. The final climax of worship is what? It is darshan. What do we do? The temples are filled, not just Hindu temples. You talk of any religion, the shrines are filled with people who want to see the image. They want to worship someone who is in person standing in front of us. Nobody has seen God, but darshan is something that all of us are always dying for. हम क्या करने जाते हैं? दर्शन करने हैं. Fine, we want to see the God, to actually see the beauty of the divine image. I deliberately used the Ram Shila here, I'm sorry, Murti of Bhagwan Ram in Ayodhya. I actually talked of it because I think everybody has seen that, to my understanding. And you want to meet the eyes of God. People have been describing it: beautiful lips, beautiful eyes, beautiful hair. So when you the gaze of the bronze deity meets the worshipper, and the worshipper feels as if God himself is there. And when you talk of, I have used these two images. I didn't want to use the images that are used in the book that are talked about. There are many reasons. We are grown up enough to understand. There are images that are being talked about, Lord Shiva and Parvati, very sensual images. And the writer, the author asks the sculptor that, don't you find it odd when you are creating a female figure, the kind of things that you need to showcase when you are sculpting an image? When we are sculpting an image of a man or a woman, we are creating God and goddess. We are creating the understanding of how the word came into existence, how the word went on, and what kind of things the we are being taught. So we cannot do it unless we have visually presented that. So that is how the idol makers, and the present tragedy, I would say, is that present when this chapter was written, the sons of the idol maker, they are not really interested in taking up idol making. Shrikant Satpati is really worried that both my children and my brother's children, they are also more interested in making more money using computers. They are learning computers in their universities and all that. And he says, but I'm very sure that sooner or later, the divine within me is going to, wake up in them also. Dr. Garima Williams, I'm really sorry. There is some network issue. I'm not very sure what is the problem, but I hope the messages of the chapters are being delivered.
Yeah, but if
I
you
hope-
just keep your mic a little differently, we'll be able to hear more clearly. It is clear, but in the beginning, it's just not as clear continuously.
Right, ma'am. I've brought my camera mic quite close to me. Am I now better audible?
Much better, much.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
say yes. It's like that.
So sweet of you. So we are done with the maker of idols. Can we now move to the next chapter, Pallavi ma'am?
Thank you so much. Now, now I'm yeah, sharing another beautiful story, the singer of epics. Imagine a vast, dry desert near Pabusar, where the land stretches out in sun-bleached expanse. As nightfall, a brightly lit tent, a shamiana, transform this barren landscape into a natural theater. Here nomads, cowards, villagers gathered, their face illuminated with natural with the flicker of oil lamp and glow of a bonfire. The drum started to beat, echoing through the emptiness, and then the transformations begin. A performer stepped forward, and with each beat, he is no longer just a man. He become an embodiment of a divine. In author's word, when the drums are playing and your makeup is finished, they hand you a mirror and you look at your face, transform into that of a god. This is the magic of epic stage where myth and ritual come together. To become a Bhopa singer, one must memorize the entire epic, master the Ravanatha, a traditional string instrument, learn to interpret the part, and even incorporate dance into their performance. Mohan was the youngest son uh, and youngest of the four brothers, but he was only drawn into this tradition. Among his five brothers, he only showed proficiency in craft. Since performing this still requires a singing partner, Mohan found his perfect companion in his wife. Mohan during the day, he was an ordinary villager, but by night, during the epic recitation, he transformed it into a revered bird. Along with his wife Batashi, he sings the ancient epic of Prabhuji, a story filled with heroism, loss and struggle, loss and the struggle for justice. His voice carries the weight of centuries as he performs. His identity shifts. A local elder once explained Mohan believed that Prabhuji's divine power protected his village animals, just as cow, buffaloes, camel, and horses, and warded off evil from children too. There were numerous stories of his father using scared chants to cure people ailment. Despite being from a lower caste, Mohan was respected by Rajput and Brahmins for his role as a Bhopa singer. The Bhopa is a normal villager until the god Prabhuji comes to him. In the moment of stage, Mohan isn't just reciting a poem. He is channelizing the spirit of a great warrior, a protector, offering his services to the community. In Rajasthan, these epics have survived because they have been integrated into religious rituals, and their heroes are worshipped as deities. Prabhuji is seen not only as a local god, but also as a warrior king who continues to solve the daily struggles of the people in villages. Like Prabhu Sir, after Mohan's death, his widows Batashi and his adult son Mahavik continue to keep Prabhuji's epic alive. What is truly remarkable about this epic recitation is that they are more than mere entertainment. They are living rituals. The performance can last for several nights, drawing the community together and keeping an ancient oral tradition alive. Every verse and every drum beats connect the present with rich ancestral past, transforming both the singer and his audience. Despite the modern world distraction, this form of storytelling remains very powerful. Authors capture these sentiments perfectly. The epic is living, breathing tradition that transforms the singer and his audience alike. This chapter reminds us that oral tradition are not relics of the past, but dynamic forces that continue to shape and inspire life, inviting us to experience history in the most vibrant way possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. So the next two chapters are interconnected. The first one that I take up is the Lady Twilight. Now, Twilight itself tells that it is the time when the day and the night are meeting. In the introduction, I told you that these are, stories that are taken up, the stories of people that are taken up. They are not the usual people. You cannot find them every day in your life. You do not meet them every day. And when they are around, we are not very comfortable with them because they do not follow the norms that are being set by the orthodox societies and the norms that we follow in our shrines. This is talking about Tarapeeth, which is in Calcutta, and it is, these traditions that. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, all right. So Tarapeeth is a very notorious and unsavory place. It is in Calcutta and it is a very famous place. Though it is an unsavory place, there are tantric rituals that are taken up there. And there are animal sacrifices, which are quite common. And even these days, we hear about human and animal sacrifices. So this is a place which is known, which people know that if there is some this kind of a sacrifice is to be made, people actually go to Tarapeeth. When I was reading the chapter, I realized that it is though people shun it, people talk about it, but still there are many visitors. That is the reason that they are throbbing. That is why we are reading about them. That is why we are talking about them. So it is a place where people worship Tara Ma. Uh, Tara Ma is, she is Durga Mata itself. But this is like, we have many facets of every god. Bhagwan Shiv is a family man also. He is a sannyasi also. He is a Aghori also. And he is Bholenath also. So similarly, Durga ji is worshipped as Tarama, and Tara refers to the twilight time because this is day and night meeting. And when the day and night meet, the moon is not visible, the stars are visible. This is Tarama. So Tarama is given the place in cremation ground. The characters Manisha Ma and Tapan Sadhu, and there are a few more characters, but specifically these two are being interviewed by the author. Apologies. So, Manisha Ma and Tapan Sadhu, they have spoken that Tara Ma had called them. They did not come out of their own wishes. Tara Ma called them through their dreams or maybe other signs they received, and they gave up everything and they came to this cremation ground. This cremation ground is a place where all the followers of Tarama live, and they not just sacrifice the animals and animals here. The dead bodies that are being burnt in the cremation ground, their skulls and other bones are being used in tantric sadhanas. So I'll first talk of Manisha Ma, because the Manisha Ma's reference is in the next story also. Manisha Ma was possessed by Devi. She was a married woman. She belonged to, when she was unmarried, her parents were from a good background. When she got married, she was quite young when she got married. After some years of marriage, she was handed over to her husband. So whenever she used to be with her husband, she used to be possessed by the Devi. And when she had three children, three daughters, and most of the times she felt as if something is in her, and the whole of the family was also believing that. Her husband had a shop, and he started believing that because of her fits, they used to call it fits. And Manisha Ma, she says that she was possessed by the goddess. Her fits were not good for the business, so he used to beat her up off and on. It was a habitual practice. It was a habit. So this practice actually, kept her away from her husband. Despite having three children, she was rather. So one day she was in the temple when she was possessed by the goddess. And when the temple priest saw her, he garlanded her, he anointed her with the sindoor and all that. So when she returned to her senses, she asked him, "What is he doing?" He was worshipping her feet. So he said that you are Ma. And after that, people started coming to her house, seeking blessings and all that. And her husband got more and more angry about it. So finally, she gave up the family. She just walked out of the house one day without informing anyone. She stayed in the temple. She was very guilty that she has given up the care of her children. But because all the people used to come to her for worshiping her, soon she started forgetting her children, though she never forgot them. But she was more engrossed in blessing people and taking care of the rest of the world. So she started living in the temple, and after some years, she started feeling as if Tara Ma is calling her out, and she left everything and she went to the cremation ground, where she now lives with Tapan Sadhu. It is a live-in relationship, because people have been talking about that Manisha has shifted to cremation ground for Tapan Sadhu. And because there were so many people talking about them, they finally decided to start living together. So now Manisha Ma and Tapan Sadhu, they are together. Tapan Sadhu was a Brahmin. He was a Chatterjee, and he used to dream of Tarama. And very soon he gave up his family and all that. And he was married for 15 years. He had wife and children. And somehow, he reached cremation grounds. He stayed there. He performs the tantric rituals. He performs the sacrifices. And there are many havans and yagnas that are being performed in the cremation ground. And Tapan Sadhu does that. And in this cremation ground, there are plenty of other people also who live here, and they are also tantrics. There is a mention that Tapan Sadhu was informed by one of his brothers that his wife has died. So Tapan Sadhu immediately went and performed all the Hindu rites that a married woman gets at her death. But he was not allowed to meet the family because his son believed that the father had given up his duties and the other people have raised him, and he feels his gratitude towards them more as compared to the father. And since then, he has never met his children. And now he is in cremation grounds. He lives with Manisha Ma. There is also a mention of some politicians and filmmakers coming to Tarapet, to Tapan Sadhu and Banishama. They perform animal sacrifices for a hit movie and for winning elections. And there are this story ends with people coming to this place on a no moon night, which is Amavasya. And there are number of people. All the sadhus in the cremation ground on this particular night are occupied. All of them are performing havanas, yagnas, and human sacrifices, and they are using the skulls and bones of humans uh, to perform these tantric rituals. And when the author asks them about the skulls, so they tell that not any skull can be used. The skulls are purified in their way, though they are not Puritans, but they have their own tantra and mantra to purify the skulls and bones. And these special skulls and bones, after a lot of puja, They are used for performing the tantric rituals. So this is the Lady Twilight, which is Tarama, and the devotees who reach there in the night after the sun goes down when the Tara rises, and then all of them perform whatever kind of rituals they need to be performed. Ma'am, can we move to the next one? So Manisha Ma gave the reference of another, devout follower of another religion. They are called the balls. Manisha Ma talked of Kanai. Probably the name must have been Kanhai, Krishna. But with the vernacular, you see the name has changed its spelling, but the feel of Kanai you will have everywhere. So the name of the story is The Song of the Blind Minstrel. He is someone, the bowls are connected. I think, I believe all of us have seen bowls. I have seen. They are Shivites. They wear robes, and they generally have their hair and all that nicely tied, and they keep singing. They generally sing about Shivji. But bowls mentioned in this story, they talk of Krishna and Radha, generally of Krishna, but sometimes of Radha also. So Manisha Ma had told William Dalrymple to visit this place in West Bengal by Ajoy River. The Ajoy River, or the Ajay River, it holds huge feasts on the day of Makar Sankranti. So Makar Sankranti, even otherwise we all know, it is when the sun shifts from one zodiac sign to the other one. This day is more auspicious because it is connected with the change of season. There are many other things that are connected with this particular day. That is why Makar Sankranti is celebrated all over India in various forms. Till as far as my knowledge goes, in Asia as well as in certain parts of Europe also, Makar Sankranti has its own value. This particular day is celebrated. So on this day at Ajoy River in West Bengal, there are many bowls who come over because there is a huge celebration. There is a festival that runs into a few days. So Kanai, who is a bowl and who has married another bowl, he was a boy from a village nearby. And when he was a few months old, he caught smallpox, and it rendered him blind. So before he turned one, he was blinded. And when he was growing up, at the age of about 12 or 13, first his brother died, and within 1 year, his father also died. So the family was to be taken care of by Kanai himself, and he did whatever best he could do to run the family. He was a very good singer. He once, when he was very small, there is a mention of a pukar. Pukar is a water body in Bengal. So at a pukar, he was taking a bath and he was singing. When is singing that they had actually
Ritu,
the but at that point of time, the family. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, good. It's okay. We lost you for a second. Continue.
Okay, I'm sorry. So when he was a kid, the Bowles had showed interest to take him away, but the family had rejected because of his blindness, because there was no so-called protector. The father was not there. So finally, this boy, he started singing, and he used to sing wherever he could, and he used to get some food for the family. But eventually, because his sisters were growing up, so the one who was at the age of marriage, she could not find, the family could not find a good match for him. And finally, she committed suicide, believing that she was a burden for the family. And when she committed suicide, suddenly Kanai realized that he must do something for the rest of the family. And he immediately left this hometown, and he went with the sadhus. He searched for the same sadhu, the one who had asked for him many years ago. So he changed his lifestyle. He became a bowl, and he kept singing. And because he was a bowl, so he used to get a lot of money. And he started feeding. He started sending the money to his family so that the family could be fed. And at the same time, the parents also know, the mother and the rest of the family, they are aware of his whereabouts, where he lives, what he does, and they do visit him. He also goes and visits his family. And he is married to a bowl. The marriage was, planned by Manisha Ma and Tapan Sadhu. They organized this marriage with a woman who was already a widow, and she was taking care of the shoes at the cremation ground. So they wanted someone to protect this woman, and this woman needed a husband. So Manisha Ma and Tapan Sadhu, they organized marriage of Kanai with this woman, and they are now husband and wife. They have their own family, and at the same time, they keep visiting the whole world. They keep walking from one place to another. And Kanai is blind, and Kanhai has at the same time simultaneously a caretaker who is Devdas. On the right hand side, there is mention of Devdas, who is also married to a bowl. Devdas was already married to a bowl, but because of certain reasons, she left him. And after many years, the other sadhus, they got the other bowls, they got Devdas married to another woman. She is the daughter of his guru. So Devdas was actually a Brahmin. His father was a Purohit in the Kali temple, and the father was pretty orthodox. The kind of norms that are related, connected with the worshipping of goddess Durga. I am a Hindu. I know that a lot of sanctity needs to be maintained during the Navratras whenever we are worshipping. Even otherwise, even if it is not Navratras, we have to be very Puritan when we are in the temple. So the father used to be very Puritan, but the son had best friends in Muslims. He had bowls who are actually considered to be not very hygienic, not very good. They are understood to be the ones who do not take bath for many days and all that. That is why they were considered not a part of the religion. And similarly, he was also friends with domes. Domes are the ones who are in the cremation ground. They have the duty of arranging the pyre, lighting. Of course, the ceremonial lighting of the dead body is done by the family members, but the dead body actually gets burnt, and whatever other is required to burn a body, domes do it. So and domes are untouchables because generally dead bodies are not touched, but the domes do all the rites. That is why people do not touch domes. Otherwise, there is no reason of domes being untouchables. And this boy, he used to sit in the cremation ground and smoke with the domes. So the father used to be very angry that he cannot be sitting in the cremation ground, and he should not be touching the domes. But he used to be quite pals with all of them, and that is why the father used to be very angry. And many a times he was made to take a bath before entering the house. So one day when he was at school, Saraswati Puja was to be performed. And the schoolmaster, he had invited a bowl to sing Ma Sharda's hymns. And he sang so beautifully, and the kind of love and respect everyone gave him. Devdas decided that he is going to be a bowl. And eventually, one day, with this bull who had come to sing the hymns in the school, he went away with him to this Makar Sankranti feast festival at River Ajoy. He came here, spent 3 4 days in the festival, and then he returned to his home. But when he reached home, his father had given him nice beatings, and he told him that he cannot be allowed into the house. They beat him so much that even the neighbors had to come to the rescue of the boy. Finally, this boy, because nobody was letting him into the house, he left and he joined the Bowls. And since then, he is living here by Ajoy River. And he is a bowl, as well as he is one of the sadhus of the cremation, like Manishama and Tapan Sadhu. But there is a huge difference between what Manishama and Tapan Sadhu are and Kanai and Devdas are. They do not perform any tantric rituals, but at the same time there are many rituals that are quite unsavory, quite uncouth. There are human fluids that are being used by them in certain practices, which is another reason, if we can come to this conclusion, this is another reason that they are not taken up in the usual way of life, because the human fluids that our body discharges, they are being used by the bowls also, and they use them for some rituals that are otherwise not considerable in civic society. So that is another reason why they live in such a place. And but despite that, they are always welcomed by people because they sit down and sing very beautifully. There is another couple, a husband and a wife, that is being talked about. They are very old. They have been bowls and they have been traveling throughout their life from one place to another, singing hymns. And now they are living in a small room besides a temple, where they sing the being bowls, they sing, and they collect money and they use it for their you know bread and butter. Ma'am, can we move to the next slide? So with this we conclude the book Nine Lives. We have talked about nine places, we have talked about nine people, and it highlights the outcasts of the Puritan religion. All of them, from the monks in the Jain temple, the daughters of the prostitute, the idol maker, all of them stand apart from the entire society because they are taking up kind of rituals that others have not found themselves in liaison with. The ones who do not find them, for example, if I take up the story of the idol maker, he is making sculptures, but the rest of the world isn't. The all other sculptors, they have their their casts done already, and they just put the melted metal into the frames, the molds, and they make they are quick at making things, the sculptures, and selling them off. But the kind of status this man has, it is only because the kind of the ceremonies and all that they perform and all that. So these are Puritan people. They are away, apart from this and the monk of Tibet. All of them, all other people are performing acts that are away from the Puritan religion. They are showcasing the sects that are equally alive, active, and throbbing. All of them are not really liked, but yet they are active. The prostitutes are everywhere. They are throbbing because people visit them, despite the kind of when Pallavi ma'am was talking about that, people come and embrace us, but they don't give us the kind of love and respect that any human being deserves. So these are the people who are around us. They are active, they are alive, they are a part of our society, but they are not given the kind of respect and honor because we are Puritans. And there are followers who don't mind spending their time, money, energy at and with these sects. But at the same time, uh, there is enough criticism. When I was reading of Shahbaz Kalandar, I went through a few songs, not a few, there are many that are connected with him. But in Pakistan, he is not given any respect. Al Qaeda is connected. It is a mention in the chapter of Red Fairy that Al Qaeda, when the poet was to meet a Red Fairy, there was a bomb blast a few days back in one of the shrines of Sufis. So, such is the impact of these secluded, these isolated sects that are active in all the societies. But Nine Lives was only connected with Asia. So, because Sufism is also connected with Hinduism, that is why the cover of the book says India or Hinduism. But in fact, it is connected with Islam and Jainism and all other sects also. So, that is all from our side about Nine Lives by William Dalrymple. If there are any questions, the presenters are welcoming them.
First of all, a very, very different book. I think this is totally, it has raised a lot of questions in our minds. I mean, every person that was discussed over here makes us question the regular thought process, regular, it's like, I just loved all the 9 cases. How the
Correct,
right,
ma'am. Oh,
I mean, being Indians, being Hindus, yes, I have definitely heard of a lot of these traditions, a lot of these cultures. So it didn't come as a surprise. But just imagine the writer who was not from our religious belief.
yes.
He would have
Ma'am,
gone through.
I think he could write because he was not one of us.
Yes,
Perhaps I may not really write about bowls and the
yes.
Tarapit Tarama followers. I may not write it. I may, because when we were discussing about it, ma'am, I asked Pallavi ma'am not to use one image. I told her that people, somebody might object, and I don't want to land into any any trouble because of
I know
using
what is the
what.
image that you're talking about.
Yeah.
It is, you know what, these people, what they believe, I mean, those bowls and basically it is similar to aghoris and
Yeah,
people
yes.
who follow them. It is that you have to uh, learn to accept everything, to be very, very detached. So whether it is good or bad, you have to have no emotions associated with it. So that's the reason they go through that. Very, very interesting.
Yes. Yes, yes.
And best part is, a lot of people will be amazed. A lot of successful people follow these traditions. It really needs guts, and you have to pay a huge price to follow it, because you are changing the balance of nature to get to this. And
Yes, that's right.
that's the reason they have to stay aloof, because the kind of energies that they draw, it is not possible for them to live in the regular kind of society.
Yes, that's right. Honestly speaking, when I was reading this story of the daughters of Yelama, I mean, this is very emotional,
Yes, yes, it brings tears to our eyes.
right? Yes, this is, I mean, if you do not cry while reading this book, you are not a human being.
Oh, no. It is. We have come across, me and my husband, we have been discussing things like this throughout this this Mahakumbh, because a lot of cases have come up,
Yeah.
and it has made us question. Uh, I mean, it finally depends on how badly you need something and to what extent you're prepared to go to achieve that. I think it's all related to that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, Garima, Lian, Rajiv ji, Shekhar ji, Professor Samir Das, Pinaki, sir. Anything? Anybody would like to add something? Pradeep Lat. Yes. Yes,
Because of time.
Yes.
Because of time constraint, we had to, leave some very important things. But I like we were just discussing, ma'am, there are many things that we don't talk about, so very referentially we talked about it, and we did the work so that we
Not
don't offend
accepted.
anyone also.
Yeah, in the regular society, a lot of things are not accepted. But the best part is there are people following these practices behind closed curtains, and they do see results. But again, the results come at what price? It's everything. It is said, na, just say mantra and tantra. Mantra is the regular puja.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
will
yeah,
get
yeah.
the results. You will get the results, but at the time that it is supposed to come. Tantra is something where you disturb the nature, and
Correct.
so it is. What is it? I mean, how badly you need it. So
Correct.
tantra is something you don't follow the usual rules,
Right.
and the people who follow tantra, again, they have to break away from the society. But again, it is the same society which accepts their lifestyle if they want
Yeah.
something similar. So
Yes, yes.
it is a very paradox. It's a
Ma'am,
big paradox.
I was reading of the amulets that people wear. In the monk's story, there is a mention of amulets, and we all wear it. आजकल तो trendy है, that blue eye, what do you call it? Evil eye.
The evil
Fine.
eye.
People are wearing bracelets, people are wearing necklaces, people have it in front of their house. The that devil face that we put in front of our house, all of these are tantras only. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
but
Yes. True.
we but we do not accept people talking about it. When people talk about it, we say, oh, you are such a superstitious person, but we all have it.
Yeah, many people do have. It's important that in today's time, what happens is people just follow the trend without really understanding
Understanding.
why they are doing what they are doing. A lot of
Yeah.
traditions are just carried forward. It's high time. Actually, Indian society was not this way. Indian society, Indian knowledge system has always been, Indian education system has always been a questioning education system where discussions were allowed, where arguments were allowed, disagreements were allowed, and then what is acceptable, that is up to you. But over the years, this has changed. I think we need to get back to being introspective, because we need to understand. When we understand and then when we follow it, then uh, our Indian tradition doesn't say what is Krishna doesn't say what is right or what is wrong. It is for you to decide what is right or what is wrong.
Yes, yes, yes. It is clearly mentioned everywhere that
Yes,
you have to make your own choices. I will not
yes.
make choices. I was listening to Sadhguru a few days back. He says, what do you think? God will come and do your work. He will not even move his finger. And I laughed like anything.
Yes,
Oh,
true.
I had a laughter riot. In fact, I kept laughing. I said, "ये जितने भी हम माला लेके, we are using the rosary. God come and do this. He will not come and do anything, my dear. You have to choose your way."
Who's this Zoom user? I don't know who's it. Please let us know who. It's just written Zoom user. I just saw the comment, not yet read, but would love to read. So maybe one first. Yeah, in fact, in Bhagavad Gita, I remember in the 18th chapter, 65th verse of the 18th chapter, Krishna, after everything, after explaining everything to Arjun, then he tells Arjun, whatever I had to teach you, I've taught you. Now it is for you to decide, for you to choose, for you to decide what is right for you, what is wrong for you. Okay. Any more questions? Garima, would you like to add something? Professor Samir Das, Rupali, Mangala ma'am, Pinaki ji, anything? Ma'am, you're on mute.
No, I'm not on mute. I'm very much here. You know what? There are some naughty students who joined the class late. So my position today was like that. And so I missed out on the first,
No, it
first
was
half an hour.
very interesting. I am guilty at not putting in the recordings. I will be putting in. Actually, I've been
Yeah, I
multitasking.
would love to hear, it sounded so damn interesting. But then see
Yeah.
what happens. There were some other priorities. And that's it.
So it was wonderful. It was wonderful. Thank you, Ritu. Thank you, Pallavi ma'am. Thank you. Both of you did a
Yeah,
wonderful
it was
job.
a very studied approach. It was a very, very studied approach.
Yes.
Ma'am, thank
Yes.
you so much.
And I suppose if we didn't have this review, I admit very frankly that I doubt if I would have gone out of my way to read that book,
Yes,
So,
Pinaki.
so that was the honest thing I must say. So it's a double level of appreciation.
Oh,
Yeah, it
thank you
has
so much, ma'am. And
this
Mangla
activity.
ma'am,
Yes, yes. Tell me.
Mangla ma'am, I'll be very grateful if you could kindly write these reviews in the group, because otherwise people today I had my network issue. Otherwise, I would have sent so many messages to tell people to
I
come and
have been
join.
sending. I've been sending. Check the group. I've been sending.
I'll check, ma'am.
I mean, it is, I have loved this activity right from the time this has been initiated. This has changed the way I talk, the way I discuss things in the class. It has helped me bring in so many perspectives. It has improved my vocabulary.
So
So
sweet.
we have so much to discuss. So
Thank
it's really, yes, Pinaki, you had something to add. You're very systematically raising your hand.
So
Actually,
sweet.
actually, anyway, good morning, all divine angels.
Good
So,
morning. Morning.
you are doing wonderful job, wonderful work, wonderful contribution for all of us. And I joined the session pretty late because I had my own training sessions this morning, followed by a lot of Q&A sessions. Well, by the time I could join, you were already on the banks of the Ajay River. It was my own state.
The world is constantly moving, Pinaki. You have to learn to keep up with us.
And I was listening to Ritu, and as she was saying balls, I mentioned that it should be pronounced as bowl, and she was talking about pucker. I said she should be pronounced as pukur. Pukur is in Bengali
Pukur.
called pond. Yeah, pukur. And it's
But you
not
know what,
kanai.
Pinaki? No, I will not blame Ritu. Bengalis have a
I'm
very
not
different
blaming.
way
I'm
of
not
talking.
blaming. I'm saying I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that is where I just pitched in. So I thought, okay, let me add some value to the conversation. So that's why
Thank you.
very clearly pronounced in Bengali, how these words are pronounced in Bengali. And then Kanai, so I said it's not Kanai in Bengali, we say Kanai. So,
Tamil. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Karima,
My fault.
Rajiv,
so the
Lian.
attempt was not to figure out the mistakes, but to add value to the conversation so that it actually pronunciation with the Bengali lect or dialect becomes more connected. That's it. But very good presentation, Jitna maine suna. It was awesome. The kind of research work that you yourself have done is hats off to you. Like that's why I just kept quiet because I have nothing else to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
I have worked with Ritu, so
Pinaki,
I know
sir.
what kind of commitment she brings in.
Oh,
No
thank you.
doubt.
Thank you so much.
Ritu, you know what? Coming to these practices, these people, they have to actually pay a very, very big price, Not
Yeah,
just
that's right.
those for example, those I don't know what Pinaki said, but those
Bowl.
balls. Yeah.
Bowls. Okay.
Balls. Yes. Now it's just imagine being outcast, but it is the same person who was helping the family survive. So
Yeah. I mean, I was so moved when there is a mention that at the marriage, before the marriage, he had called his mother. The mother came and saw the girl, and when she approved that, okay, fine, this girl is good enough. I mean,
Yes.
I was so moved that look at the plight of this blind minstrel. He was doing everything to keep the family intact. Even before he became a Baul, he was trying his level best to take care of the family. He was sitting with a friend and having a cup of tea when the news was broken to him that his sister has committed suicide, and he ran to do see, the girl has already committed suicide. What could he do? But he ran. I mean, when you read it,
Yeah.
I'm sure you will be strongly moved. It is such a touching book. I loved it. Thank you
Hmm.
for giving the book.
Yes. This time I've not adopted a voting because two books that are recommended by Kundu sir, they are amazing. So I thought let us just take up the books. And anyway, this is the month of March. People are on vacation and then it's the year end. So I said I'm just going to use the two books.
Give
Absolutely.
one
And
of the book.
like these bowls, or particularly the kind of people who have been figured in this book, they are real life examples of resilience. Power
Yeah.
of resilience. अगर आपको सीखना है ना, इनका बायोग्राफी आप पढ़ के देखना.
Yes,
you know
yes. It is
you know
similar to Aghoris.
beyond imagination.
It
Yes,
is
they
similar
are.
to Aghoris. It's very, I mean, it's
And that
very,
too in those
very
days
repressive.
when there was no communication, no transport. During those days, you know, even getting firewoods was a big challenge
Yeah.
when they
Imagine
lived
even
in
for
the
ladies into that profession, how much hardship they must be going through to, I
phenomenal.
mean,
Phenomenal.
thoughts and chores.
At the
Eh,
same time, ma'am, at the same time, let us also pay attention to their love and devotion for each other. I mean, it
Yes,
could be they made sure that they get married. Fine.
yes,
Those sorry, not Tarama, Manishama and Tapan Sadhu, they are in a live-in relationship because both of them are already married. They have their spouses, right? But apart from them, everybody else, even Manishama and Tapan Sadhu, they organize marriages of others so that they should have a dignity in the society, even if they are aghoris, even if they are, the kind of cremation ground life and all that, they are nude, all of them, but still, the sanctity is still taken care of.
Very true. Very true. Absolutely.
it's the same, na. Shiva is supposed to stay in Himalayas and also at the cremation ground. And Shiva
Yeah.
is the only deity who is having a complete family. There's no
Yes,
other
yes, yes.
deity who has a complete family. Shiva is married, he has kids. There's no other deity who symbolizes the complete family.
And
Sandhya,
his kids are worshipped.
And
yes, kids,
And his kids are
Kartikeya,
worshipped.
yes, yes,
Think of
yes,
worship.
Kartikeya,
Think of
Ganesh ji.
celebrity.
yes. Anyway, wonderful, wonderful. Garima, you are quiet.
Yes, yes. I did unmute. I wanted to add just one thing.
Yes,
The that one main point during the review that I figured out is the diverse and fading spiritual traditions of India. The review like definitely explores the lives of nine individuals that I could figure out after listening to these two. And each of them were representing a different religious or mystical tradition, and that was highlighting how modernity is influencing and in some cases threatening these ancient ways of life. So yes, your review definitely gave me a strong reason to read the book, and I'm going to do that with all my concentration. Thank you so much.
Yes, Dr. Williams, when you read the book cover, it already says that the traditions in the modern lives.
Right,
So
right, right,
yeah, people are so modernized, yet they are so connected with these traditions. Like Sandhya ma'am was saying, that
right.
you know, in the darkness we visit these places,
Correct,
right?
correct. Absolutely. I just love the way you talked about Tara Ma Wala story, and I just love that way. I can like add that anywhere in the sessions as well. The way like
Oh,
Tara
thank you
Ma
so much.
appears when nothing appears. So that
Yeah,
is how it is. Thank you so much. Yeah.
thank you.
you
Thanks a lot.
know, for example, marriage is such a valued, entity, institution. But
Right.
Yeah,
in today's world, there are so many people who are married and yet cheating on each other, and then there
Correct,
are
correct.
others who are into a live-in relationship, into a partnership, and they are more loyal to each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes.
So it's like
correct.
that is what is more. I still remember it was I mean that incident made us laugh, but it's not just India. When I was in US, suddenly there was a change in the rule where the government, there was something like if you are, if you are breaking the signal, then the camera will catch a photo of the nameplate and
Mm.
uh, the people traveling in the car. So there was this
Mhm.
American lady. She was like, she came to the office and she's like, "Oh God, if I'm traveling with somebody else, then what?" It was. I just burst out laughing. I'm like,
Right.
I
Got
will
that.
listen to a guy saying this, but a female. Yes, I was. I just burst out laughing. It was
Yeah.
funny.
That, ma'am, that is a logical question.
So
Yeah.
that's that, and she was married. Suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Her worry
yes.
is
Right.
genuine.
True.
Anyway, yes, Garima, anything? Rupali has been quiet. Who's this Gausia Raj?
Hello. Yeah, actually, I wanted to say this is my first time attending this session. I joined it
Welcome,
yesterday.
welcome.
It was a quite good one, interesting one, because I just woke up when the session started. I was like, oh my God, I might missed it.
Now
But
I will
then
be sending the recording.
it started at that time.
I've been guilty of not uploading the videos. I will be doing it.
Hmm.
Yes.
I was just listening to everyone because it's the first time before I speak something. I wanted to listen the conversation you all are having. And
That's
after
so
reading
true.
the story and all, I felt like the place where we are growing, the perspective what we are getting from the beginning, that is also changing our way how we are thinking. Reading
Yes.
such kind of books will redefine the way we are living.
I mean,
Yeah.
uh, it's been now, we started the first book review was on June 30th. July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Wow, it's been 8.5 months.
Yeah.
We will carry
Then I
on.
print all such books.
Kudos to all of us and you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's right. I
I
agree with
guess.
Dr.
Because
Williams.
Yeah.
no, I just wanted to share a point like we being Indians, we are from the beginning, we are being taught the way our parents see, like their own perspective. The
Mm.
way
Correct.
we try to change, they get angry on us or they'll be like, no, unless and until they are open for the change. Reading such
Yeah,
books and helping each other and making them have a new perspective. Like, see, obviously at this age, they won't they won't let them change. But
Huh.
seeing
correct.
them, this is the background, this is the thing that actually happened. This was the
Yeah,
real thing that happened. And because of
yeah,
that, these things is going on still. Might be
correct.
Yeah,
because of all such things, we can change the perspectives.
yeah. No, very
And
important.
with the things going on, what I felt like we are more into career things and all, like just running behind it and everything without going for our what we are for and what is our culture for. I felt
Mm.
like today again we need to go back and we need to search who we are.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Every story, Dr. Williams, every story talks about the story of the dancer. I've suddenly forgotten the title. All of them are people who are, they are keeping a tradition alive. If you talk of the
Yes,
nun's story, she took up a decision of, giving up. She was only 13 years old when she became a nun, and the
yes.
kind of rituals, it is actually, my mother-in-law is a Jain. I know this ritual very well. Every hair is plucked from the body, every hair. Can you, I mean, it's
Yes.
very it's horrible. I can't imagine it. I mean, and in our families it is a common thing that children give up things, and they tell us they want to become sadhus in the chaumasa when we have sadhus at home, and it is a tough job to tell our children nahi banna. I'm also one of them, the Puritan.
Wonderful, wonderful. I guess now it's high time. So thank you so much, Pallavi and Ritu, and thank you so much, Garima, Rupali. How do I pronounce your name? Gausia. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. Gausia.
Okay. Yes. Sekhar, Sameer Das, Pinaki, thank you so much for being with us. So I guess with that, I end this session. and we'll meet again the next time. And yes, today I'll do my best to put all the 4 recordings out there. I'm at fault. Chalo.
Thank
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.